Good evening, hockey fans. Data here with breaking news in the National Hockey League as the New York Rangers have traded Kaapo Kakko to the Seattle Kraken for Will Borgen and a couple of draft picks. We'll break it all down as the New York Rangers have been reeling over the last little while. Terrible stretch of games. They decide to scratch Kaapo Kakko, bring him back, play him 10 minutes. He's actually been doing quite well. Maybe not up to the standards of being a second overall pick, but over the last year and a bit, Kaapo Kakko has been seeing improvements. You would think the Rangers would see him as a piece who's been growing, similar to Alexis Lafreniere to a lower extent, and he could be part of the solution moving forward in New York. Sadly, that is not the case, and the Rangers have made a move here, acquiring a good defensive defenseman who's going to be helping their team right now. But I gotta say, this is a slam dunk win for Seattle, capitalizing on the desperation of the Rangers right now. I think they are selling Kaapo Kakko for pennies on the dollar. So yeah, already some thoughts coming in here. Rangers fans in denial. Huge W for the Kraken, saying Landon as well. Good on Seattle. Hopefully finds some potential there. Yes, let's start breaking it all down. So first, the trade that was. So the New York Rangers receive Will Borgen, a defenseman they've been, I believe, targeting the last few years. Good defensive defenseman. He's young. And they also get a 2025 third round pick and a 2025 sixth round pick. So two picks in this upcoming 2025 draft, a third and a sixth in this year's draft, along with Will Borgen for Kaapo Kakko, which is value. I don't think even close to what it should be. And the Kraken, good on them. Who have they gotten now in the last few years? They've gotten Eli Tolvanen for free. And who else have they gotten for free who they took a chance on, like a Kailer Yamamoto? Now they get Kaapo Kakko. This is exactly the type of move that the Kraken should be making, and the type of move that will help them to move forward, as the Rangers are going to get Will Borgen, but with a third and a sixth for what Kakko might become. I don't know. So Kevin Weeks says, per sources, I'm told the Kakko trade was in no way connected to his comments yesterday. The Rangers like and respect him, but as a pending RFA and 1 year away from unrestricted free agency, this move is best for both sides. They wish him nothing but the best. I don't know. Jay Fresh can put up those graphics in just a moment, so I'll wait to show you I'll show you the numbers as of now, like for Kaapo Kakko as of June. So this is before we can really look deeply at the numbers. We'll get the updated numbers in a moment, but as of June, these were Kaapo Kakko's numbers. Defense was going down, offense was going down, finishing was improving. Over the last 3 years, weighted average data showed him as an average to below average player at times, getting fourth line minutes. But I want to see the integration of those 2023-24 numbers. If we also look at the microstat card for the 2023-24 season, above average in a lot of important things, but not only below average, but at the bottom of the league in a lot of other things. Chance assists, primary shot assists, in-zone shot assists. But hey, maybe he's not a big playmaker. I get it. That's Kaapo Kakko. We'll break down the numbers when the updated card comes out. Will Borgen, I'm sure there's going to be something coming out from Jay Fresh in a moment, but as of July, or was that June? Sorry. Yes, July of 2023. So over a year ago now. Will Borgen in that 74th percentile from the last 3 years of weighted average data, 87th percentile of even strength defense. I want to see updated numbers on Will Borgen, but we can say that is he 27 going on 28 now in the real world? He's a good defenseman. I say young. He's not necessarily he's not a prospect, but he is on the younger side. He's moving into his prime. This is going to be, this is the heart of his career right now. He's showing good things in third pair type ice time. And if we show updated numbers, I wonder if Jay Fresh can get it out anytime soon. If not, no problem. We'll start looking at the numbers. So let's look at Will Borgen first, who the Rangers are acquiring. I'm sure there's a lot of Rangers fans watching this. The Rangers fans out there saying, who is this Will Borgen we just got? 27-year-old defenseman going on the age of 28 tomorrow, actually. A fourth round pick of the Buffalo Sabres back in 2015. He was claimed in the expansion draft, correct, by the Seattle Kraken. Since then, he's found a name for himself in Seattle. Only 2 points in 33 games this year, -13. So yeah, as Landon's saying in the comments, Will Borgen is not that anymore, and I think I agree. Now, ice time has not been that high. It seems to have taken a dip from last season. He was averaging 17.5 last year. This year down to 15-12, so okay. But when playing, still not 20 plus minutes, but 17.5 minutes per night, over 100 blocks, almost 200 hits. So between the last 2 seasons, he's a 200 hit guy. And now it seems like the blocks and the hits numbers, both those statistics are taking a bit of a dip if we have to look at it compared to just this season. So here we go. Starting off the Kaapo Kakko, acquired by Seattle. He is a young defense-first winger, so don't worry too much about the playmaking metrics. Drafted as a puck-protecting, skilled winger, a lack of creativity and playmaking skill has stuck him as a puck-retrieving third wheel and limited his upside significantly. Kraken have their work cut out here. So just because he has shown, this is in potato quality 180p of Kaapo Kakko right there. Just because Kakko has that possibility of being something, just because he has shown some flashes of whatever, this is not a guarantee for the Seattle Kraken. It's a slam dunk to say, hey, a third, a fifth, and a UFA defenseman who's playing third pair minutes for us, no problem. But it's not a guarantee. It's a slam dunk in the acquisition, but not a guarantee in the development. That's the difference. So Kaapo Kakko over the last 3 years of weighted average data, he's seen some improvement if we compare it to his numbers here. So he was dropping to that like 25th percentile of offense. And if we look over here now, he's slightly above that, very slightly. His finishing, his defense has gone down even more, but his finishing has improved. I'm sorry, the defense has gotten better, but the finishing has gotten worse if we're looking at that. So Kaapo Kakko over the last 3 years of weighted average data, below average and even strength offense, above average and even strength defense, 68th percentile in the league. Overall, 59th percentile projected wins above replacement. 68th percentile finishing, okay. Goals and primary assists are both above league average. That's great. But the other intangibles of his game are not fantastic. Like, he's not playing with the greatest levels of player with like fourth line ice time. He's also not playing against great levels of player as either, so he should be with better matchups, he should have better results, and sadly that doesn't seem to be the case right now. And we'll wait to see the updated numbers on that. But getting back to Will Borgen, so Will Borgen, actually I should probably pause on Borgen until the numbers come out on him. Let's go to Kaapo Kakko for a moment. Seattle, what are you acquiring? And New York, what are you trading away? The second overall pick in 2019 could have been Kirby Dach. I guess that wouldn't have been great, but it could have been Bo Byram. This was an interesting draft class. Kakko is not in the bust category, but he's not in the not so great category. Kirby Dach is in that not so great category as well. As a Canadiens fan too, I got to say this season, Bowen Byram's good. Alex Turcotte in the bust category. Then you got Seider, Cousins, Broberg. He's developing this year. Zegras not so great, but Colson not a 10th overall pick quality. Soderstrom's played 53 games, and then Boldy's a slam dunk. York is good. Caulfield's good, etc. So weird top 10 for 2019. Kaapo was second overall in that draft, 23 points out of the gate, 17 the year after, but in 48 games, okay. The year after that was where you first started to see, this guy has 18 points in 43 games now, one more point in 5 less games, but now he's in his third season, okay. 2022-23, 40 points, okay. This guy's finally here, and then, no, 19 points in 61 games. This year, 14 in 30. It depends on how the Rangers want to use him. If you can take a step back and say, he's not going to be a second-line producer in terms of what we saw in Liga, 38 points in 45 games. If we can accept that he's going to be a middle six, puck retrieving, two-way forward, then he's a very good player. He's a fine player. But if we keep putting these expectations of offense on him, he's not going to hit them in New York, seemingly, with the way that Peter Laviolette doesn't want to play him, and management doesn't seem super committed to him. And here we are. A trade has taken place, and now he'll get a chance to show what he couldn't maybe show with the Rangers and do that in Seattle. What was his ice time looking like over the last few years as well, or last few games even? Yeah, so 10-14 of ice time, the second lowest of the season last game, what ended up being his last game as a Ranger, -1 and 3 shots on net. 3 games in a row previously. I don't know if it was even more than that. 3 games in a row of not registering a shot on net. Oh boy. But aside from that, so yeah, the ice time, 14-17, 14-21, 15-27, and 15-18 in the last 2 years. The last 91 games have been identical. 91 games of 13-17 of ice time on average. 91 games of 13-17 on average. So yes, there's disappointment surrounding Kaapo Kakko, but we have to also say, listen, he has not been given the greatest opportunities to show himself either. If we just take a quick jump over the comments now, a lot of comments being left. Sorry that I couldn't get to all of them. Welcome to all 50 of you watching. Leave a like if you haven't already, and subscribe for breaking news analysis in the real world of hockey, as well as all of our NHL 25 series, franchise modes, career sims. We'd love to have you join us. James saying, I vividly remember my Ranger fan friends cheering when the Devils picked Hughes over Kakko. Good for them, though. At least their GM is making changes. Real life Isles are cooked even worse. So that's it. Is this the move for the New York Rangers? I would think that there's a lot more that has to happen. Moving out a third liner who was getting scratched and bringing in a third pair D, is that really going to make all the difference? Like, as MVP says here, Will Borgen is not bad, but what are we doing? Kakko's had a good year. Why not trade him for more? I would say, why even trade him at all, in my mind? I was going to start a franchise mode today. Good thing I waited. Change of scenery would be good for Kakko, though. Great trade by Seattle. I agree there, not Owie. Borgen, yeah, he's a solid defenseman, but I think this year numbers seem to be taking a bit of a hit. Yeah, what's going on? Rangers Drury making the Rangers worse. Gen Z McKenzie saying Kakko's a bust, but I watch him turn into Eli Tolvanen. Yeah, Tolvanen's been doing very well in Seattle. I hope that Kakko could have a similar trajectory now moving forward. Ryan saying my Rangers are a complete dumpster fire right now. Maybe this is the first step of a few steps to come. I hope for your sake, Ryan. Kakko had been one of the better and more consistent Rangers this season, if that tells you anything about the state of the roster currently. Right. And with Will Cooley as well. Yep. Season of Cell. +9 on this year's Ranger. Yeah, got to keep that in consideration as well. Kaapo Kakko, a +9 on this year's Ranger team. Sheesh. The only time he had decent time on ice was when he was on a line with Kreider and Zibanejad, and they've been trying to find someone to fix those two for a couple of years, 5v5. I'd love to see him excel in Seattle. Agreed. Couldn't have said that any better. It's Yater, top 6 power play role, etc. could help his offensive game. True. Just because he hasn't been showing that offensive flair doesn't mean it's not possible. Give him the way lower expectations in Seattle as opposed to at Madison Square Garden. Give him the ice time and give him the in-game opportunities, and let's see what happens. Does he turn into a medium elite? He's currently low elite in franchise mode, right? Does he turn into a medium elite? We'll see. Weird thing is with Seattle, they're a team that scores via committee. Is that going to help Kakko or hinder him? Well, we'll look into the Kraken lines in a moment and see what that means for them. If we look here, do we have any information on Will Borgen? I want to see that Will Borgen thing from Jay. Is there anything on Will Borgen? Maybe there won't be one at all. So if there isn't going to be anything on Will Borgen, I'll just pull up the one from a couple of years ago. So please don't say this is Will Borgen because it's not. I just wanted to say in 2021 to 2023, these were his numbers, which is why the Rangers are so interested in him, I would think. Since then, his numbers have gone down. I don't think they've cratered, but I do think they've gone down. Now, does that, will the Rangers get this version of Will Borgen is what I'm trying to say. Hard to know exactly. He's an expiring UFA as well, so they move one expiring contract out for another. But Will Borgen has not been his usual self, I don't think, here in Seattle. Let me see if I just break out the calculator for a second. 33 games. So 82 divided by 33. So he's on pace for 92 hits. Sorry, 92 blocks, which is a little less than last season. And he's also on pace for 119 or 120 hits, which is way less than what he did the last couple of years. So part of that is he playing with less physicality? And part of that is it's just the less ice time as well. So less hits this year and less physicality from Will Borgen. But what is the reason behind that? I'd want to see the deeper numbers on him. Now, New York Rangers, if you refresh here, does that change? Has it been updated yet? I don't think it has been. Kaapo Kakko, Will Borgen. I think, sorry, did I skip? There, Kakko's still here. So Kaapo Kakko, 2.4 million moving out and 2.7 million coming in, correct? For the New York Rangers? Yeah, so 2.7 million moving in. So the Kraken get value for an expiring UFA defenseman. They have their defense set up. Riker Evans is going to be around here as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Riker Evans in the 5. Who's going to play on your 6th? You're going to lose Will Borgen anyways. You get not only Kaapo Kakko, but an RFA Kaapo Kakko, who you're going to have the rights to, and get him for cheap, probably around 3 million or less. Give him a full season, see what he can do. Not to mention, this season's not even close to being done yet. We're only in December, so there's a lot that Kakko can show in Seattle. There's a lot that Kakko's going to be able to show. And draft pick situation, the Rangers now get a 3rd and a 5th. They had no 3rd previously in 2025, so that's helpful. They had a 1st, then they jumped to a 4th. They now get 1 3rd and 2 5ths in total in 2025. And Seattle, they were playing from a position of power. They had a lot of 2025 picks, if I remember correctly. No, it's just 2 4ths. Okay, so they have no 3rd and no 5th, but 2 4ths. So 1st, 2nd, then 4th, 4th for the Seattle Kraken, which is definitely manageable. And I think worth a gamble on Kaapo Kakko and what he can do. Nothing there on Borgen. Not too bad. I want to see a bit more of the deeper metrics on him. I'm sure it's going to come out as soon as I end the stream. It's going to come out. But now, where does Will Borgen play on the New York Rangers? If we look at their depth chart right here for the Rangers on the right side. So Jones, Fox, Lindgren, Schneider, Vakanainen, and Ruedel. So Ruedel probably comes out and Borgen goes in, I would think. And then for the Seattle Kraken, if we look at their depth chart here on Puckpedia, I would think Kaapo Kakko goes into the top 6. And Tanev, he's been good. I like I like Brandon Tanev a lot. I think he plays a good style of hockey that has worked for himself, that has gotten him his contracts over the years. He plays physical, he plays hard, he plays two-way, he has a little bit of scoring touch. But I do think it would make more sense to move him down. But no one on this third line would really move to the fourth line either, in my mind. So I think you got to give Kakko an opportunity. I think you have to play him somewhere in this top 6. I don't think I see anyone in this top 9 moving down unless it's Tanev to the fourth line and then Carty, who's another good physical player, or Stevens, whoever, gets bumped out. Yeah. Thank you. I'm going to go check that out, Landon. Landon put something in the Discord server about Borgen's numbers. Thank you for that. Let's go there. So Landon sharing this. So net rating over time. Will Borgen versus Kaapo Kakko. I never read one of these charts. Let me give it. Borgen had the worst net rating on Seattle per hockey stat cards, and Kakko ranked 6th on the Rangers and still has plenty of room to grow. Ooh, okay, interesting. So Will Borgen, this is over a course of games. So from October 8th to December 16th, Will Borgen has been steadily declining. Oh, this is interesting. Thank you for sharing, Landon. This is very interesting. Will Borgen. So if I don't mean to sound the alarm here, Rangers fans, but the way I'm seeing it from an outsider point of view, no hate whatsoever. I would love if the Rangers win the Stanley Cup. No problem with me. I got to be honest. You just acquired a declining defensive defenseman who's going to be expiring UFA in exchange for an RFA Kaapo Kakko, who is one of the better players on a very bad team, who hasn't really gone like astronomically high, but is still a net positive and is the 6th highest rated in the net rating. Now, what is this net rating based on? I honestly don't know. I've never read one of these cards before. I'm just looking at this now for the first time, but it doesn't make me feel super confident in this trade. Yes, you get a 3rd and a 5th back with it, worst case scenario, but I don't feel super confident in this being the solution to the Rangers' problems. I'm not going to say he's horrible, but a not so awesome this year, good career, but not so great this year, Will Borgen is not going to be the answer to your problems in a third line, 15, 16 minutes per night, a third pair, capacity. Meanwhile, Kaapo Kakko has a lot of room to grow at the age of, what is he now, Kaapo Kakko? He's 23, turning 24 in February. If he's ever going to get a chance to do anything in his career, it's going to be with the Kraken now. And I'm excited for him. And there you go. This is the Will Borgen we were waiting for. He's a third pair defenseman who kills penalties, throws hits, and takes shots from the perimeter. Yeah, if you go on their post, you can see the categories that they use. Thank you. So actually, let me do that right before I pull up more numbers, that the rest of that JFresh card on Borgen. Along with more information. This is what it tells us here. I don't want to take too much time on this. But just to quickly tell you what those cards mean. I'm going to the wrong place, aren't I? Okay, never mind. Okay, so anyways, let's go back to, where was I just now? Here. So Will Borgen, 40th percentile projected wins above replacement here over the last 3 years of weighted average data. Now, I said I didn't think that it cratered, but the defense at even strength has dropped off very, very noticeably. The offense has gone up, which is interesting, but his wins above replacement percentile rank has dropped off quite a bit, from something around the 60th percentile down to like 20th percentile. And the last 3 years of weighted average data keeps him in the 40th percentile. Below average offense and defense, not a big deal. 83rd percentile, sorry, the offense I meant. The even strength defense at 32nd percentile is 83rd percentile of primary assists. That's cool. And the rest of these other things over here are okay, but these don't matter to me when I see these over here. What's on the left doesn't matter when I look at what's on the right. Matthew leaving comments saying fire Drury. It's the editor saying dollar store Truba, then I guess. LOL. Yeah, that's another way to think about it too, I think. Dollar store Truba. Kind of what it is. Dollar store Truba on Will Borgen. So he has had the potential and he has shown the capabilities to be a good defenseman, an above average defenseman. But this season in Seattle, and not a ton of pressure on him. Like these have not been great Kraken teams. He's been 4 years in Seattle. He's missed the postseason twice. These are not amazing Kraken teams that are doing big things and asking a lot of him. Every year has kind of been the same thing from Will Borgen in terms of the expectations of the organization. And this is the year he's been doing the worst, on pace for less than 10 points, but forget the points, I guess. -13 and a negative net rating, as we just saw, right? So that's where things sit on this trade. Matt Rempe called up as well to Hartford, and Victor Mancini was sent down to Hartford. Okay, so I think we're getting close to wrapping it here, but I am not confident in Chris Drury and this vision from the Rangers if I'm a Rangers fan. Let me know what you're thinking down here in the comments, everybody. I'm not happy if I'm a Rangers fan. I got to say it just like that. I'm not a happy Rangers fan tonight. There's so much going on that makes me not happy, but this makes me say, now what are we doing? I'm unhappy, and now what are we doing? We acquire Will Borgen, which is not the end of the world, but what it costs, not only what it costs, but what we also gave up. Two different things. The cost of Will Borgen is too high. A roster player, a third and a fifth for a third pair expiring defenseman. Think about that. Forget Kakko for a second. Just think about that. The cost of Will Borgen, the cost of this player as an expiring contract at 27 years of age is a contracted player under team controls and RFA and a third and a fifth. That's already a problem. And then to add in the fact that you traded Kaapo Kakko, who was 6th rated on your team, rated 6th for a positive net rating according to the hockey stat cards, in exchange for Borgen, who's at like -8 and the worst on Seattle. Aside from the value not making sense, the deal doesn't make sense. And this has to be one of a few moves to come in the next week or before the freeze or into the new year for the New York Rangers, if I'm to have any faith in Chris Drury. Usually when you sell like this, aren't you typically supposed to get assets back? Best thing we got was -8.5 mil on the cap from Trouba. Right. Yeah. Yeah, and Rangers management, it's not a good time for Rangers management. Again, I wish nothing but best for the Rangers. I try to keep it as balanced and honest as possible in my reviews, even though I'm a Canadiens fan. It's not clicking in my head. Drury is scapegoating Kakko, says Matthew, but isn't holding overpaid bums accountable. Drury killed the good work Gorton did and destroyed this team's future. And I wish I could say that was an overreaction. You might disagree with this comment, and you might say that's a bit too intense, but I don't think you could say that this is totally incorrect. I don't think anyone could really say that Matthew is 100% wrong. At least a little bit, you have to say that there's truth in this. So I don't mean to make this what's it called when you're lamenting over the death of someone? I don't mean to make this like a wake for the New York Rangers, because I don't think that's what it is. I still think there's some hope, even though it's like down to 20% to make the playoffs. Even if you miss the playoffs, you got to think there's hope for the future. But to trade out Kakko for Borgen, who might not even be back next year, doesn't make me feel comfortable. So the Rangers need to do more, and Will Borgen is not the answer. That's kind of our conclusions right here. There's my instant analysis and reaction. Kaapo Kakko, despite his shortcomings, was getting better this season. Yes, still struggling, but getting better this season. Not given ice time, not given opportunities. Now in Seattle, will they regret it? Will the Rangers regret losing Kakko? Maybe not. But will they regret moving his value and a third and a fifth for an expiring UFA defenseman who honestly could be a healthy scratch within a month? Would they regret that? I think that's what they might regret more. Mark commenting, Kakko was never put on a consistent line. He had great moments and was in the worst spot. True. Forget just inconsistent ice time. It was inconsistent line mates as well. Pair him with Wright and watch him pop off out of nowhere. Could be. It could be. So I look forward to transferring him to the Kraken roster in my newest NHL 25 roster on PS5, which is coming out probably this weekend. So I don't mean to talk in circles. Thanks to all 70 plus of you who are watching now. I think I'll close it there. Leave me your thoughts in the comments down below or over in our Discord server, linked in the description. This news was broken on the Discord server. We're over 700 members in there. We're always talking hockey, franchise mode, fantasy sports. Join us if you want to talk hockey and be notified of all this breaking news. And of course, subscribe to be notified when we go live. Hit that bell. And of course, check out the rest of the series on the channel if you haven't already. Binge a little series for the weekend here. Holiday break, our NHL 2018 to 25 franchise modes, as well as career simulations, over 25 career simulations. Check out the Lafreniere sim. And 6 of that top 2019, true. Good point here. We were talking about the 2019 draft class. 6 of the top 10 have now been traded. Wow. Really speaks to it. Looking forward to reading all your thoughts on this one. hopefully there's more streams to come for New York Rangers trades. This is the beginning, and I'm not feeling confident in, forget this season, but just the future of the organization of this vision, the vision of this organization moving forward. If that's going to be the type of moves that we make. Yeah, I'd like to hear an explanation as well. Why would Drury make the deal? They're going to say, they want to give, things weren't working out. We wish him all the best, and he's a good young player, but I'd want to hear behind closed doors. Hold on, we're saying Laviolette fire. Hold on, let me get some confirmation before I close off the stream. Let's see that. Hold on a second. No, that is fake news, sadly. Thanks for trying, but that is fake news. Yeah. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Much love to you all, and we'll talk soon. Good night.